So let's talk today about all the claims for shutdown of Russian Su-34s and Su-35s. Because since mid-February, the headquarters of Ukrainian Air Force and Air Defense Force, PSU, Повітряні Сили України in Ukrainian, they have issued the following claims. Okay. On 17 February, that 2 Su-34 and 1 Su-35 was shot down, and here is the Telegram channel Военное Decimated. Russian one is saying that, confirming that Su-35 was lost by Russians, and then next day one more Su-34. Then on 19th February, one more Su-34 and Su-35. And then quite a lot of, quite a lot of other planes were shot down on the following day, and for 29th of February there was visual confirmation as well. So very few of these claims, they only 4 in total, I think 5 in total, have been firmly confirmed by visual evidence so far. And it is unlikely to change for some reasons. I will say like this. For example, these Su-34 bombers are used to drop glide bombs on our front line. And they are dropped from 30, 40, 50 kilometers away from the front line in the Russian controlled territory, and when they are shot down, these planes, they are falling in the Russian controlled territory. We don't have access to the wreckage of these planes, of such planes. So we cannot, from Ukrainian side, we cannot provide any evidence. So we have to rely for the Russians to provide evidence that their planes were shot down. It could be arbitrary, that some pilot was killed, and then you can see in the social media that this arbitrary of his. But it takes sometimes several days or weeks to find the wreckage of the plane and to take out the body, to bury it, and then after that you will have this arbitrary. So in some cases we should wait a while longer. And on the other hand, if there are no fatalities, if the pilot ejected, then there will be no evidence whatsoever in social media. Or we can rely on some maybe civilians filming it, or maybe some Russian male bloggers confirming it, but like we saw there. But you see that Russian Ministry of Defense is clamping quite heavily on the information on the male bloggers, and since last summer when Strelkov was arrested, they are quite, heavily redacting or censoring the information, and male bloggers are quite, frankly, afraid to say, to confirm such things that can be deemed as saying something bad about Russian army, and there is a punishment for that in the criminal code of Russian Federation now for saying untrue information about Russian army. So if you say something that is not liked by Minister of Defense, they can charge you with this crime, and quite heavy penalties there can be received. I mean, quite a long jail time can be received for such crimes. So, on the other hand, just keep in mind that there are at least 3 Patriot surface-to-air missiles system in Ukraine, and they are equipped along the following lines. So we have one ex-German PAC-2 system, with such radar and such engagement control station. Then we have one more, the same system, but now it is ex-US Army PAC-2 system with the same radar, the same engagement control station. And one more, it is from, again, ex-US Army PAC-3 anti-ballistic system, but with better radar, but with older engagement control station. So we can see that every PAC-2 or PAC-3 system consists of these same elements. So we have this fire control station, fire control system. Then we have a multifunction radar. Then we have mast antennas. Then we have power generator and 8 launchers. You can see here these 8 launchers. As we have seen previously, this older engagement control station within the PAC-3 is quite suspicious, because the previous, this one, MSQ-132, is the vital part of the PAC-3 system. So there is a suspicion that with this third system they send not only one control station, but more than one control station is there. And if there are more than one several control stations, then it can be explaining why there are so many claims about downed Russian Su-34s and Su-35s. So in some previous video, I already explained the assault mode of Patriot system, and it is the mode when you just take a part of PAC-2 or PAC-3 battery and split it from the unit and deploy it separately. So why you would do such a thing? Because to have 8 launchers with 32 or up to 128 missiles, depending on the variant, it is very nice, but it is not always necessary. But on the other hand, to take enemy by surprise by suddenly appearing in an unexpected place, it requires mobility. So lower number of components is easier to move and faster to redeploy. And this system is highly flexible, and all one need for a single Patriot system to go into action is actually just this. So you can see the control station, radar, mast antenna, power generator, and then 2 launchers, for example, or even 1 launcher. And alternatively, if there is a different radar providing targeting information and one is in a big rush, only this thing is necessary, just control station, power generator, and launcher. And the different radar, some other radar is providing the targeting information to the control station. And if you have more than one control station, then, for example, you have older 104 and newer 132 control station, you can get 2 different firing units, and each one can operate separately and over an entirely different sector of the front line. And then you can send one to the east of Ukraine and one to the south of Ukraine. And then there is only the problem of coordination of logistics. Where should you send spare missiles when they expand the missiles that they have on the launchers, and where to spend spare parts, and where they have to wait them next day, next night, so that they can keep on their mission. So now let's talk about the 138th Air Defense Brigade. So one division is Ukrainian designation, saying that several batteries are called division in Ukraine. So one division of the 138th Air Defense Brigade, and this brigade is home based in Dnipro, and it was previously operating Russian or Soviet actually made S-300 systems. So it was re-equipped by with German PAC-2 Patriot system in the beginning of, I think, of 2023, in March, April of that year. Also, this unit, 138th Air Defense Brigade, and you can see the patch here. It was the unit known to have shot down the Russian A-50 over the northern Azov Sea here, right here. And they also, and this A-50 destruction was on January 14 of this year, and also some number of other Russian aircraft and helicopters over the last few months were claimed by 138th Air Defense Brigade, and also just so most of them were by Patriot systems, but also one helicopter back in early December was shot down using the S-300, which is still in the operation by this brigade. So, conclusions is on hand. It is the Patriot teams of this 138th Air Defense Brigade that are roaming the battlefields of Ukraine and ambushing incoming Russian fighter bombers at every opportunity the last several weeks. Then, in the beginning of well, sometime last year, there was a report about that Ukrainian forces found a near intact Su-34 that crashed somewhere in the eastern Kharkiv, somewhere even in 2022, and nobody paid that much attention to this claim. But it is quite possible that there was a group of so-called men in black inspecting this wreckage, carefully recovering every bit and piece of avionics, then packing it, and then taking that away, very, very, very far away, all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. And over there, across the Atlantic Ocean, there is an agency named National Air and Space Intelligence Center. And it came into being through reorganization of other organization or agency called, previously it was called Foreign Technology Division of the US Air Force. And you can see here the badge of this previous, and it is quite similar to the current badge of this organization. So, and that branch, Foreign Technology Division of the US Air Force, was famous for sending its men in black all over the world, and, for example, to collect MiGs and Yak fighters, MiL helicopters, SA-2, SA-3, SA-5, SA-6, and different other Soviet missiles, and other Soviet-made weaponry whenever these were captured, whether in Korea and Yugoslavia in 1950s, then in Vietnam, then in Middle East, in Chad, or wherever else. And they were studying them closely back during Cold War, and they never stopped doing that. So, that would explain the rest of the story, because essentially Su-34 avionics has been compromised by the Americans and thus the Ukrainians, and unless Russians find a way to upgrade it significantly, this type, I mean the Su-34, is near defenseless to such systems like PAC-2 or PAC-3 Patriots, because they know how their electronic warfare, electronic countermeasures are working, and probably bypassing it. So how many such planes as Su-34 remaining in Russian inventory? They have received over 140 Su-34 so far during all these years, and some like 12, 14 were already lost as of summer of last year. And then the number of Su-34 that claim to shut down since 1st January this year is higher than the number of Su-34 officially announced as manufactured and accepted by Russian Air Force last year. Because during 2022 they manufactured and delivered to the Air Force, to Russian Air Force, 10 Su-34s, and last year, 2023, 6 more were delivered. So, unless Russians increase production and if the rate of losses remains the same, it is easy to calculate that the rest of the fleet is going to be completely wasted by March of the next year. So, thank you for watching, thank you for your time, have a nice day, and Slava Ukraini!